What's up, y'all? So today we're going to talk about how you can get started trading futures, right? And when I say get started, I mean, how do we get into this market, right? So this video really is for anyone. You could be brand new to this, or you could be just transitioning from another market such as Forex, or maybe you do stocks or options or whatever the case may be. So if you are completely new and you know nothing about trading, I will say this is probably one step ahead of you at least, and you got to make sure that you get the foundation, because you really it's this whole process is easy. It's really easy to get into this game. It really is. It really is easy. But to succeed at it is a whole nother deal, right? So today we're just talking about how you get into it. So if you're new, I encourage you to make sure that you get your education and lay your foundation. I have some great videos like that coming out soon, but today we're just talking about how can you get started in futures. So if you are coming from a different market, I will say that this transition will be pretty easy for you, because the reality is that in futures, if you trade other markets, the concepts essentially are the same. Now, there are some different terms, some different terminology that you may need to, learn, but in essence, everything is the same, right? We're entering trades. We got to analyze the market. We got to manage our risk. Everything is generally the same. So first, I just want to talk about what are futures. And if you've watched one of my previous videos, you might already have gotten that information. You understand what it is. But if not, let's talk about it. So essentially, futures is really, trading an asset's future price, right? So what is this asset going to be worth in the future? And it's an agreement between two parties to buy or sell an asset at a future price. Okay? So I want to give you an example. And this isn't necessarily this market per se, but I want to just give you an example that really can resonate with something that you have experience with in today's world, in reality. So let's say a house, right? So you say, hey, I want that house, but I want it next year, but I want it for today's price. So I know that next year the price is probably going to be much higher. I want to secure this at this particular price, but I don't want to take ownership of it, or even, fulfill the financial part of it till next year. So that essentially would be you participating in a futures contract, right? And so a contract is just like a sound. It's an agreement between two or more parties, right? So essentially we are buying or selling an asset at, this agreed upon future value, technically, right? Or future price. So that's really what futures is. Now let's talk a little bit about the markets that you would be participating in. And so I'm just going to throw this up. And again, if you've seen some other videos, you might already have looked at this information, but let's throw this up real quick. So essentially you'll be trading things like commodities, like gold, corn, grain, indices. So your Russell, your SP 500, Dow, the NASDAQ. You'll be trading things like this. And you also can trade currencies, although it's not as common to see people trading currencies in the futures market, but it does happen. But these are the kind of things that essentially you would be trading, right? So these are probably things that you already trade in other markets, right? The whole concept is the same. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. There's really not much difference. It's just the way you enter the market, right? So you're gonna use a different broker than you probably typically use. You're gonna use different platforms than you typically use, but overall, we still have leverage that we have to consider, right? And that's what allows us to be able to participate in the market is leverage. And there is high leverage in futures. There is the opportunity to trade 24 hours a day. And I really would say 23, because most of the markets are going to be closed during that middle time. And then also, if you are participating as, a smaller retail trader and you don't have a ton of capital, you have to close all your trades out same day, right? but it is a high liquidity market. So it's a great opportunity for folks to get involved. Well, let's get into some of the terms, right? Because, and this is not an exhaustive list, but I think these are just at least some of the key things that you may want to know in order to participate in this market. So let's take a look at it. So first off, you have the contract, which this is just the agreement to buy or sell an asset. Then we have leverage, which we talked about. Essentially, it's using borrowed funds to increase your potential returns, right? So this is what really allows you to participate in this market without having a ton of money. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing to be able to participate in the market, guys, because these opportunities haven't always been there for us, and it's now more easier than ever to participate in the market. You have margin, which is the amount that's required to actually open a position. And if you want to go back to the house example, we can kind of think about this kind of like the earnest money. So in order for me to participate and actually have this contract, I have got to put up some money. Like I have to have some kind of skin in the game, and this margin will impact, really how much, how many contracts you can have and things of that sort. So think about it like that. I mean, it's not the best example, but it's one of the closest real world examples I can think of at this time. So you got the tick size, which that's the minimum price movement of a contract. And then you got the point, which is the minimum price change. And so you got to think about contract, the change for each contract, right? The price for the movement of a contract versus the point. Now, we'll go into these things in more detail, but I encourage you to go and do some research and learn more about these terms, because I think if you at minimum know these things, it will be sufficient enough for you to go in and at minimum have your demo account or whatever to get started experimenting with this market. So how can you get started, right? So essentially, to get started, it's no different than you do with any other platform, right? So if you want to trade stocks, you got to go and find someone that you can actually use as that intermediary to participate in the market. So you need to go and find a broker, right? You need to go and find a broker. And some of the popular brokers we have, like NinjaTrader, we got Charles Schwab, I believe is it plus 500? Let me see what else we got. We got TradeStation, Interactive Brokers. There's quite a bit of brokers out there. So, one of the things that you really have to do is go out there and start to do your own research on brokers that really, fit for you. And so you're gonna have to do your own research on that. My personal broker that I use right now is NinjaTrader. So you'll want to open an account with them, go through that whole process, of course, fund your account. And then you need to learn the platform, because a lot of these brokers have different platforms. They have their own platforms. And so you'll need to learn how to use their particular platforms. I know some folks that like to use TradingView, and yeah, you can use that trading futures. Okay, it's possible. But you need to learn the platform. So you'll just create a demo account whatever you decide to choose, play around, and just practice understanding, what a point is here, right? The tick size, the contract value. These are the type of things you want to do while you're in demo mode. And this has nothing to do with being a profitable trader. This simply has to do with just going through the mechanics of being able to trade in this market, right? How does it work? I never recommend somebody going in and creating an account with a broker and just going straight into live money. No, make sure that you truly understand how their platform works, right? But yeah, so I would say definitely do that. Then the rest is the same, right? The rest is the same in terms of risk management, making sure that you do your analysis and things, and really just getting the educations for you to be a profitable trader. So that's just a quick intro on how you can get started with trading futures. I hope that was helpful for you, and I will definitely be dropping some more detailed videos for you to help you in your journey with futures and trading other markets as well. All right, talk to y'all soon.